Thanks for stopping by. I hope you're all doing well. So today we are going to be doing a large commission. This is a 48 by 48 gallery wrapped deep edge canvas, and the client wants blues, so she's going to get blues. This is ultramarine blue, cerulean blue, primary blue, Payne's gray, titanium white, turquoise deep, indigo, light blue violet, sky blue violet, cobalt blue with white. And these are two metallics that I have mixed to make custom colors. I'll have the mixture in the description because I just can't talk fast enough. So yeah, we're gonna be doing a Dutch blowout. And I think the most important thing to remember on this type of technique is not to put too much paint on the canvas, and especially don't put too much paint in the center because that's where I'm going to be blowing it out when I start, is from the center and then outwards towards the edges. So if you have too much paint in the center, you've got a lot of distance on a 48-inch canvas to get it over to the edges, and you don't want to have to blow over it too many times to get it out of that area. So you definitely don't want it pooling. So yeah, we're gonna try to blow this thing out. We're gonna see what happens, and I'm really excited about those metallics being in there because they usually give really amazing cells during this type of technique. So I'll be back here in just a little bit. Okay, and I'm back. That was quick, huh? So apparently I followed my own directions a little too well, and I don't have a whole lot of paint towards the edge of the canvas, around the four edges. That's really important that that part of the canvas be wet as well. When your paint hits that dry canvas, it's gonna stop. It cannot go past that, or it can't beat the surface tension of the canvas. It's got to be wet underneath. Now, I didn't use a base coat for this piece because I've got obviously enough paint on the canvas to cover it, but I do need to have those edges wet. So you'll see me getting my fingers in the paint, dabbing it all over the place, just like I'm doing now, just to get a little bit of paint there so that my other colors can flow easily over it. Now you'll notice when I'm blowing out the paint, I'm holding my dryer pretty much straight up and down. I'm not angling it in any way. Now I know when Canella does her Dutch pours, she very much angles it. And that is because her dryer is on low and her paints are a little bit thicker than what I'm using. So you have to remember, my blow dryer is on high and my paints are a little bit thinner. So if I were to angle my blow dryer, what's gonna happen is my paint is gonna fly up and out. And that's where a lot of people starting out trying this technique, they get into some splatters. I've heard so many newbies say, oh my gosh, I got my blow dryer out and I blew paint everywhere. And that's kind of why. You may be using too much air. It may be on too high of a setting. So take that setting down a little bit or thicken up your paints a little bit. But for this technique, for my consistency of paints and for what I need to do, that is why I'm holding the blow dryer up and down, just in case you were wondering. So I'm just thinking here, are there any tips and tricks that I can give you if you're wanting to try this on a larger canvas? I think I might have a few. We've already talked about not putting too much paint down on the canvas to begin with, especially in the center, as well as how to hold your dryer while you're blowing at a high speed. If you're using metallics, you want to keep them a little thicker than your other paints, and you definitely do not want to add too much water to them when you're mixing in your pouring medium, or they'll break apart as you're blowing them out. Adding metallics to your blowout will definitely help you get some cells as well. Be sure to watch it when you're leaning over a large canvas to reach the middle. Sometimes you're not paying attention to where your shirt is, and it may drag the edge, or even worse, drag in your composition. Hold your dryer cord in one hand and your blow dryer in the other. That way you can kind of control where the cord is and it doesn't mess up your composition. And if you're not sure about the colors that you're choosing, practice your blowout on a smaller canvas. Some colors together when they're blown out will give you a nasty muddy look. And if that's not what you're wanting, it's a good idea to test out your palette before you go for the big canvas. And there are those clusters of metallic cells I was hoping would pop up. You know, throwing metallics into the mix very seldom disappoints. You can always get some cells with some metallics. These blues blended beautifully together, and they make such a statement. You really cannot go wrong with blues. So here are the dried results, and you can see by the movement of the paint that it was blown out from the center, giving it kind of an explosive look, or it almost looks like a flower, don't you think? I'm not going to zoom in too much here. I want you to enjoy seeing how the colors and the movement of the paint really created a dramatic piece that I think is going to look amazing over my client's fireplace. I can't wait to see it there. So many thanks, much gratitude to Nicole. You now own 4 of my pieces, so that makes you a collector. How cool is that? Guys, we have an incredible fundraising campaign going on, and I can promise you, you're not going to want to miss it. So here's the info coming up. Each year, hurricane season brings challenges to those living in affected areas, but this year has been especially rough, breaking storm records. Helene left a massive trail of destruction behind, and now Milton has pummeled coastlines as well as inland areas. The devastation is widespread, and it will take years to rebuild damaged homes and restore lives. As a community of artists, we know all too well that creativity can be a beacon of hope that shines through darkness. We've chosen to come together to raise money for people who have been impacted by these catastrophic events. We've created videos for you to enjoy and art for you to bid on. Proceeds will be going to the Direct Relief Organization, who is leading the recovery efforts with a focus on medical supplies. Each artist has selflessly created a piece of their art for this auction. Fluid Art Co. has stepped up to do something very special that they've never done before. They've offered to sponsor the collaboration with a special release pigment that they've named Benevolence. The word benevolence represents generosity, volunteerism, and kindness of community. $5 of every jar sold will go towards the fund. This pigment will not be moved into their standard range of colors offered. It's strictly being released to raise money for this cause, and then it will be retired. Please join in and help us make a difference for this important movement by contributing in whatever way you can. Watch our channels, spread the word for us, buy benevolence, bid on our art. As Alexander Mars said, money is never a goal, but rather a means to do greater good. From all of us around the globe, thank you for taking this on with us. Now, you can still purchase Benevolence at Fluid Art Co. That's fluid-art.co. And we still have 20 more artists that will be premiering their donated artwork this Sunday the 27th and Tuesday the 29th. I'll have the playlists in my description of the artists that have already premiered that you'll definitely want to check out. The auction for all of these amazing pieces will be held on November 3rd on Nate Bright's art channel. You don't want to miss any of this event, as this is such an incredible cause. Mark down your calendar and plan to be there. We appreciate your support more than you know. Thank you so much.